Have you noticed how a quick scroll through social media can turn into hours of lost time? Or how constant notifications pull you away from moments that really matter? If you've ever felt emptier after binging online or wondered why focusing feels harder than ever, you're not alone. We live in a world where connection actually means disconnection from ourselves and those around us. Welcome to our channel, Pursuit of Harmony. Today, we're diving into a topic that's more relevant than ever: the hidden costs of a digital life. Is all this digital immersion really benefiting us? Or are we unknowingly paying a high price? Here's the good news. Breaking free isn't just possible, it's transformative. What if I told you that turning all those hours spent scrolling into something truly meaningful is really possible? I was stuck in the same cycle, wondering where my time was going and why I wasn't getting closer to the life I wanted. But then I began to view social media from a completely different perspective, and everything started to change in ways I never expected. I could finally turn my screen habits into a purposeful project that brought fulfillment and opened up new opportunities. Now I'm here to show you how you can do the same. Let's start with something we all wish we had more of: time. Did you know that the average person spends over 7 hours a day on screens? That's nearly half our waking hours. And the sad part is, most of this time isn't productive. We're scrolling through feeds, watching short videos, and constantly refreshing our notifications. The digital world has found ways to capture more of our attention and, by extension, our time, often without us even realizing it. Have you ever found yourself lost in an endless loop of scrolling, telling yourself just 5 more minutes or just one more video? This is what's known as the time trap. Technology today is designed to keep us hooked, using infinite scrolling, autoplay features, and algorithm-driven content feeds that keep us engaged for hours on end. We think we're in control, but in reality, these platforms are engineered to make us lose track of time, often at the cost of our productivity, relationships, and mental well-being. This time trap doesn't just steal our hours, it also reshapes our perception of time and value. When we prioritize digital interactions over face-to-face connections, or when we feel that rush of dopamine from a quick video but then sink back into restlessness, we're experiencing the effects of this imbalance. It's a cycle that leaves us feeling unfulfilled and yet craving more. The constant interruption fragments our attention, making it harder to focus on tasks that genuinely bring us closer to our goals. And as a result, we trade meaningful activities, hobbies, and even self-care for screen time that ultimately leaves us feeling empty. But the good news? Once you're aware of the time trap, you can begin taking steps to reclaim your hours and make conscious choices about how you spend them. Many of us feel guilty about how much time we lose to endless scrolling, but that awareness is the first step toward change. By understanding this concept, we lay the foundation for all the strategies to come in this journey toward a life of balance, purpose, and real-world fulfillment. Imagine a life where you're in control of your time, where each moment feels like it's adding up to something real, something you can look back on proudly, instead of just fading away in a blur of scrolling. And this is exactly what I am going to help you with. As we already discussed, social media platforms are designed to keep us hooked. But what's the emotional toll? We might not see the immediate effects, but our digital habits impact our mental health in profound ways. Research is increasingly showing that prolonged screen time and excessive social media use can lead to anxiety, depression, and even exacerbate feelings of loneliness. Think about it. Every time you scroll, like, or swipe, your brain is receiving small hits of dopamine, the reward chemical. This creates a cycle of instant gratification, but ironically makes real-world rewards feel less satisfying. Eventually, we find ourselves reaching for our devices more often to fill a void that only deepens. One particularly damaging aspect is comparison culture. On social media, we're constantly exposed to curated highlights of others' lives, the vacations, the perfect relationships, the endless successes. When we compare ourselves to these unrealistic images, we're left feeling inadequate, as if we're not measuring up. Over time, this can erode self-esteem and leave us doubting our worth. But the mental health consequences go beyond anxiety and self-doubt. Recent studies suggest that our devices may actually alter the way our brain functions. The overstimulation from screens leads to decreased attention spans and makes it harder to focus on tasks for extended periods. For some, this constant stimulation even interferes with sleep, leading to cycles of insomnia and increased stress. As you can already guess, digital life also has a huge impact on our relationships. Imagine sitting down for dinner with friends, but instead of meaningful conversations, everyone's heads are bowed, eyes glued to their screens. In our pursuit of digital connection, we've started to miss out on the real, face-to-face interactions that make relationships thrive. The constant notifications, quick text responses, and endless content scrolling can make us feel connected superficially, but studies suggest these habits are chipping away at the genuine bonds with those closest to us. With each notification or message, our attention is pulled from those physically present, leading to a cycle where relationships feel hollow and interactions lose their depth. And it's not just a matter of courtesy. It's about truly being present, listening actively, and building trust and empathy, the very foundations of strong relationships. But the effects go deeper than we think. Recent studies have coined the term phubbing, or phone snubbing, an unspoken habit that quietly tells those we care about that they're not worth our full attention. Ignoring someone in favor of a phone. Think about it. How many times have you seen couples out to dinner, sitting together but worlds apart, eyes on screens instead of each other? This subtle but constant message chips away at the foundation of trust and closeness, leaving relationships feeling hollow and fragile. In families, the impact can be even more painful. Children, who naturally crave their parents' attention, are left feeling like they're competing with a screen. Studies show that a parent's distracted presence can make kids feel unseen and unimportant, affecting their self-esteem and emotional security. Imagine the lasting impact of growing up feeling overlooked, right there in the same room. With social media portraying an idealized reality, we sometimes find ourselves comparing our relationships with those we see online. This comparison can lead to dissatisfaction and a sense of inadequacy in our own lives, as we start to believe that everyone else is experiencing a better reality. Instead of engaging with the people right in front of us, we become lost in a comparison game that nobody wins. Relationships aren't meant to be perfect. They're meant to be real, with their own set of challenges and joys. But digital dependency blurs this reality, making us long for an unattainable, polished version of connection that only exists online. The good news? There are effective strategies to reverse this trend, and we'll delve into them in more detail at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around. Let's talk about the impact addiction to social media has on our physical health. Have you ever noticed how drained and sore you feel after hours spent glued to your screen? It's not just fatigue. Every minute in that position is taking a serious toll on your body. We're talking about chronic neck and shoulder pain, weakening eyesight, and posture changes that can lead to lasting skeletal issues. Imagine decades from now, feeling these effects daily simply because we didn't make a change. And the effect on sleep is profound. Our device's blue light fools our brain into staying alert long after we should be winding down, impacting our sleep quality and draining our energy. So we reach for more caffeine, sugar, and, ironically, more screen time to keep us awake. This cycle eats away at the one thing we can't replace: our health. Rest becomes a luxury instead of a natural part of life. If we don't draw the line, these habits won't just make us tired, they'll make us weaker, stressed, and more dependent on the very devices that are causing the harm. And what about our productivity and natural ability to focus on tasks we're doing right now? Let's face it, every notification, every quick scroll, and every just one more minute moment has a price. These small interruptions aren't just momentary, they're constant disruptions that force our brains to restart focus each time we get pulled away. Research shows that it can take up to 23 minutes to fully refocus after an interruption. So, even if we believe we're multitasking, in reality, we're just fragmenting our attention, producing lower quality work, and taking longer to complete simple tasks. The irony? All those quick breaks we think will help us get through the day are actually setting us back. Studies suggest that the average person spends over 2 hours a day on social media. Imagine the progress we could make if we devoted even half that time to focused work or personal growth instead. It's not just about time lost, it's the opportunities missed, the skills we could be developing, the goals we could be achieving, and the creativity we could be nurturing if only we didn't let our screens pull us away. Each hour we spend passively consuming from a screen is an hour we could have invested in our own self-growth. Studies reveal that frequent use of social media can actually suppress our motivation for real-world experiences and self-improvement. Why? Because when we see carefully curated snapshots of others' lives, we get a false sense of achievement and fulfillment, as though we're experiencing something simply by watching it. But it doesn't stop there. The more time we spend in the digital world, the more disconnected we become from our true selves, missing out on experiences that build character, resilience, and creativity. Studies on personal development suggest that hands-on experiences, learning an instrument, taking up a hobby, meeting new people face-to-face, are essential for deep self-discovery and growth. These are the moments that shape us, that give us stories to tell, memories to cherish, and lessons that make us wiser. When we choose screens over real experiences, we're not just losing time. We're losing ourselves, and missing the chance to truly understand who we are and what we're capable of. So how do we counter the effects of a digital life? This is where digital detox and mindfulness step in. Not to eliminate screens entirely, but to set boundaries in order to reclaim our mental space and sense of purpose. When we step away from the constant buzz, our minds begin to settle. We regain focus, and our creativity flows more freely. Even small changes can have a big impact. Digital detox is about freeing yourself from that constant pull and taking control of how you spend your time. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role. When we're mindful, we're more aware of how and when we use technology. We reclaim our time and attention, redirecting them to things that truly matter, like personal growth, relationships, and real happiness. Think of mindfulness as the key to a life where you're in the driver's seat making conscious choices, rather than just reacting to endless notifications. Knowing the problem is one thing, taking action is another. Here's a step-by-step guide to get started. Start by understanding where your time goes. Track how much time you spend on screens daily, whether it's on your phone, computer, or TV. This awareness is the foundation for meaningful change. Next, set clear goals. Decide how much and what type of screen time you want to allow each day. Be specific. The third step is to create a schedule. Designate specific times for screen use. For example, limit recreational screen time to evenings and reserve mornings for non-screen activities, like journaling, meditation, or even a quiet walk. A well-structured day helps you stay disciplined and productive. The next step is to prioritize activities. Replace passive screen time with activities that make you feel genuinely alive, moments that build skills, confidence, and joy. This isn't just about reducing screen time, it's about reconnecting with your own potential and rediscovering the simple pleasures that make life worth living. The fifth step is to take control of your devices by blocking distracting sites during specific times. Lastly, create screen-free zones in your home. Places like the dining table or bedroom, where you can fully engage with yourself and others. In any case, make sure to start small. Begin with modest reductions in screen time and gradually increase your limits. Remember that it's okay to slip up occasionally. Focus on progress rather than perfection, and be patient with yourself as you adjust. The truth is, a digital life doesn't just steal our time, it steals our lives. But you can reclaim your time and turn it into something extraordinary. Imagine waking up with purpose, spending your time on something that inspires you, and ending each day with a sense of accomplishment. If you've ever thought about breaking free from mindless scrolling and creating something meaningful, why not start today? If you are still lacking motivation, make sure to check out our video about how to trick your brain to enjoy hard work. Make sure to subscribe for more content that helps you reclaim a balanced, purposeful life.